大家好, kumusta? My name is Victor, and cameras aren't the most important thing in video production. And a lot of us, especially me when I was starting out, I thought camera bodies are like the best sensors out there, would be the most important thing in terms of video production. But slowly realized that there's a lot in play in terms of video production. So I want to share my top 3 essential filmmaking gear that will elevate your video production. The first one on the list is an external monitor. This is going to really elevate your filmmaking experience because you're going to be looking at a bigger screen, whether it's a 5-inch or a 7-inch external monitor. And you'll have exposure tools like false color, and you also have other tools like focus peaking, so you can nail that focus while you're filming. And to me, from my experience, when I bought my first external monitor, I had so much fun filming because I could compose properly. I can see the image properly compared to, I don't know, a 2-inch, 3-inch camera LCD screen. So to me, it's one of those essential tools when you're first starting out. Now, there are a lot of products out there. You can go from budget side, mid-range, or high-end. We have ourselves a 3-in-1 monitor, which is the Hollyland Pyro 7. With the Pyro 7 being a 3-in-1 device, you only have to worry about powering this one unit versus having another transmitter receiver piece on your rig. Less cables, simpler rigging setup, and it's more convenient in your productions. And the reason why we wanted to implement this in our video production is that, one, you have a receiver and transmitter built in to the monitor. It's got your standard monitoring tools like histogram, waveforms, false color, zebras, anamorphic D-squeeze, and a lot more. I'm just gonna put them all on the screen. But what I'd like to emphasize is its ability to screen grab, and then you can use the image overlay feature as a reference for your other shots. This is great for plates, compositing, match cuts, and a lot more. You can also screen record with the Pyro 7. It'll be saved into the SD card that you put in, and you'll be able to preview a rehearsal take to the client or the director. And you can also use the previews to share on your social media accounts. The file sizes are small though, so I wouldn't recommend it to use as actual files for the deliverables. You can connect up to 4 receivers to the Pyro 7 without any issues at all. You can use a Pyro S receiver with a bigger monitor, another Pyro 7, or a mobile device that has the Holly View app. This is great for production crews, especially the smaller ones that need to use different devices for multiple video streams. If you have 1 or 2 cameras in your productions and they're both equipped with one of the Pyro products as transmitters, you can use the quick monitoring switch from your Pyro 7 in receiver mode, so you can quickly hop from your A cam to B cam. This is especially helpful for directors or clients so that they can see all the cameras in the production. This is so that they can see a clear view of what we're filming and that they can see the performance of the talents. I've taken this to a few shoots already, and we got one of the directors to share his quick thoughts about the Pyro 7 as a director's monitor.
Toby here is directing today. I gave him the Pyro 7 to view whatever I'm shooting. So, what are your thoughts on it?
Wow, the contrast, the color on a super bright day, I had no issue seeing anything. Really love this product. Hollyland's kind of kicking butt right now. Definitely use again.
Sweet.
Overall, the Pyro 7 is a convenient monitoring system that will elevate the experience of your cam ops, your directors, and other crew members, and it will also keep the client happy to see a more professional set, and it'll make the production a little bit more collaborative between the client and you as a filmmaker. I cannot emphasize more on lighting. When I started out, my kind of mentor was a master in lighting. What he told me about lighting is something that stuck to me to this date, is that our job as creatives, as photographers, videographers, whatever you want to call yourself, is to make a 2D image look like 3D. Not in a literal sense that we want it to pop out of screen. We want the image to look dynamic, meaning there's foreground, background, and your subject, and you make sure that it looks immersive in terms of the image, and we have to make it look natural. And taking that core idea and applying it to whatever set I go to, no matter if it's run and gun, natural lighting, or a full production set, I always try to make sure everything pops in terms of an image. You have to shape light as a filmmaker, and if you're using natural light, there's ways to shape it as well. You have silks, fabrics, you have flags, you have reflectors, and many more tools to really utilize natural lighting. I know there are times where it's almost all run and gun. We don't have time to play with the lighting. The more you try and do it, the more you kind of know what to do in terms of lighting or shaping your light. You can also place your subject into a pleasing location where maybe the sun is bouncing on a white wall, or you can use the sun as a backlight. It also takes only a few seconds to move your camera to the best angle you can get in terms of the lighting so that you can turn your image into something more pleasing. One thing I like to do on location, especially if it's a run and gun shoot and I have no control of lighting, is looking at my hand and just like going 360, like turning 360, and see where the light hits my hand and to see where it creates like a three-dimensional shape. You'll have a shadow, a highlight roll off, something that will create depth in the face of a subject. From there, I'll check the sun's position, what time of day it is, and where it's going as well, so that I can kind of mentally plan ahead on how to shoot the next scenes. You can even try to find where the sun is hitting white walls or textured walls, so it'll bounce your subject, creating a more dynamic image. If you're wondering what kinds of lights I use, they're mostly nanolights, especially for video production on set. If I want something smaller, I have my GN lights, but I've been using nanolights since 2016, and that they're my go-to lights. It's easy to create shape and colorful images, especially with their RGB lights. Lenses will give you that unique look. It's not the camera sensor, it's not the camera's color science, it's not the camera body. Once you know the ins and outs of a camera, you can produce beautiful images. You can see Apple filming commercials with an iPhone, but my point is that cameras nowadays are so good that you need to focus on different things, such as the lenses that you're using. This will give you the character instead of you trying to buy a red Komodo, but essentially if you don't know what kind of lenses you want to use, or you don't know how to set up light or angle light, shape light, you're not going to get that unique look. Don't get me wrong though, a good camera sensor can still be useful, but if you're looking for the look, you're gonna have to find the lenses for that specific character or that specific project. I mean, you can rock a micro four thirds sensor like with a GH7 and pair it with a T1 lens or an f/0.95 lens, and you'll get that background separation, that pleasing bokeh. If you're looking for something special, something unique, a good lens choice will elevate your creative needs. My go-to lenses are the following for my product, corporate work, and events. My go-to is the Sigma 24-70 2.8. I'm actually using it right now on the FX3. It's also my content creation lens because it's just so versatile. And if I am shooting events, I also bought the Tamron 70-180 2.8, and it's been more than enough for my needs. I took it to an ice race in Aspen earlier this year, and the footage that I got was amazing. For beauty work, I used the Sure 50mm or the 75mm because they can also be macro lenses, and the highlight roll-offs are great. They're very neutral. If I want a more general look, it will be again the Sigma 24-70. And if I do want a macro lens with autofocus, it would be the Sony 90mm macro. For fashion, I usually prefer anamorphic or again the 24-70, but fashion is more creative and I feel like anamorphic does really good. I don't have a preferred anamorphic lenses, just whatever is available to rent or whatever I have on my kit during that time, I would use that one. Now for narrative and commercial, I personally like the new Laowa Argus T1 cine lenses. I have the 28 and the 45 and it's more than enough for my needs, and that it's T1 as well, just in case I'm filming in low light. There are lenses for every job though, and what reigns in my kit is the Sigma 24-70 2.8. I feel like I've said that 500 times in the past minute of this video. But anyways, I don't really have a preference between the Sony 24-70 or the Sigma. They all do the same thing. But yeah, I've been rocking the Sigma 24-70 Mark I for the past 2 years, and it hasn't disappointed. But what I'm getting at is that every lens has its strengths and weaknesses. You just gotta pick the best one for your jobs. That's all I have for you today, and I hope these little notes help you and elevate your production a little bit more. If you have any other gear essentials to recommend to your fellow filmmakers in this community, comment down below, or we can even chat about it on Instagram. But until then, I will see you in the next video. Peace.
너와 나 우리의